A handful of local lawyers have generated more than 500 lawsuits related to the Americans with Disabilities Act in just the past 5 years in Georgia.
Now, the ADA was passed to protect people with disabilities, including providing access to local businesses. Senior Fox 5 I-Team reporter Dale Russell has looked into this rash of lawsuits and is here now with what he found. Dale?
Quite a few, Russ, quite a few. We had heard of the growth of these ADA access lawsuits across the country, so we began to look here in Georgia. It didn't take long to find hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits and complaints with disabled plaintiffs and a few lawyers battling big national companies and small business owners.
He's stronger than any of us.
In a comic book world, the fight for justice seems never-ending, like the Fantastic Four's battle to save the Earth from Dr. Doom.
He's not stronger than all of us.
But in his comic book store, Brad Owens sees no justice in the fight he's tangled up in.
To have someone that's basically extorting you, it reminds me of the days back when the mob would want protection money. It's kind of the same thing.
Owens is the owner of Rock Shop Music and Comics. His fight began when he got this letter from a lawyer saying a woman named Noelle Wright encountered architectural barriers at his store, and Rock Shop Comics was violating the Americans with Disabilities Act.
He emailed me the complaint because I was like totally shocked.
Let the shameful wall of exclusion finally come tumbling down.
The act was passed in 1990, designed to prohibit discrimination against people with disabilities and guarantee they have the same opportunities as anyone else, including access to businesses like Rock Shop. Owens says a letter came from the Attorneys for Disabled Americans group and contained a shopping list of complaints, focusing on his checkout counter, claiming someone in a wheelchair couldn't use it.
We have disabled customers that come in all the time. My brother was in a wheelchair all of his life, so I know what it's, with dealing with it.
He had no idea who Noelle Wright was. This is her on her Facebook page. Her Atlanta lawyer described her in an email as diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and as wheelchair dependent for periods of time. We wanted to track down Noelle Wright, and it turned out to be a long drive. She lives some 200 miles from the comic book store at the Mall of Georgia, here in a suburb of Montgomery, Alabama. We didn't find her at her home, but we did find her lawyer, who turned out to be her mother. Can we talk to Noelle?
No, you cannot talk to our clients. There's ongoing cases.
She's your daughter.
Yes, she is.
Owens agreed to make changes, lowered the counter, cleared the shelf space. He already had a tablet, so anyone in a wheelchair could pay their bill anywhere in the store. He sent an email with pictures showing the changes to the lawyer. Lawyer Alex Mitchell's response? The pictures don't include measurements. There appears to be merchandise on the desk, and he would like to extend a settlement offer of $5,500.
It hurts. Honestly, I don't have it to spend. I mean, if I were to pay that, I'd have to take out from my son's college fund.
Really?
Which I'm not going to do.
Alabama attorney Tracy Birdsong's law firm has filed 84 ADA lawsuits across the Southeast, including 8 in Georgia. But that pales in comparison to others we found. 532 ADA lawsuits have been filed in Georgia in the past 5 years, most of them by a handful of attorneys and plaintiffs. Many of those suits filed against small business owners like Jimmy Viranarong.
You remember Tom?
Oh, yeah.
He has cooked and served seafood on Cheshire Bridge for 32 years. Tommy Futch, seen in this Facebook page, sued after one visit to this iconic Atlanta restaurant for ADA violations, focusing on the bathrooms. One of 90 ADA lawsuits Futch has filed. There was no complaint, no warning, just a federal lawsuit. The man who came in, is he a regular?
No.
Never seen him before?
I never seen him before.
Jimmy's lawyer argued the building was so old it was exempt from ADA laws, but then told Jimmy and his landlord it would be less expensive to fix the problems and just pay the lawyer.
When people maybe ride the bus or walk in.
He did, adding a ramp for anyone approaching the business on a wheelchair from the street, and he built that new bathroom. Looks brand new.
It's brand new. I'm happy in a way, really, because It makes us feel good that we not try to really not do anything the law requires to do.
Jimmy lost 3 tables to build a new wall for that bathroom. His cost $20,000 plus his attorney's fees and some $5,000 to pay the fees for the lawyer who sued him.
They're not here for purpose just to help the restaurant. They're just here to make some money.
What they're pointing out is accurate, but is that the best way to create change?
Mark Johnson is a disability advocate. He's had to navigate his way through life in a wheelchair for 42 years. He says it's sad we're still fighting over access 27 years after the ADA law was passed. He says some lawsuits often identify access problems, but he doesn't like the trend sweeping the country of lawyers flooding the court with lawsuits, mostly against small businesses who settle rather than fight.
What is their real motive? You know, all I can figure is it's money.
Money.
It's money.
Now, we really wanted to talk to several of these ADA attorneys and plaintiffs and tried to, the ones who file all these suits, but not one would talk to us on camera. Craig Ehrlich, the lawyer in the Red Snapper case, told us on the phone he considers some violations dangerous to the disabled, and he feels like he's doing a public service, and so does his clients. But he didn't want his client, Tommy Futch, to make that case on camera for us. Russ, Sinead?
Yeah, it does raise questions how making that lawyer rich in Alabama really improves the cause of people with disabilities. Mark Johnson, what does he mean exactly when it says it actually could hurt the people it's designed to help?
What he's talking about, one, is the perception that you know, this is just, it's a bad perception for the public to see that lawyers come in and work like this, and rather than have a dialogue and conversations with people and say, hey, can you do things? The other problem is there's laws now. So some of these business owners have gone to Congress. They're talking about a House resolution that could change the ADA Act. Right. Mark Johnson and many others say the changes are not good for us.
Right.
So they don't like the way this thing is unfolding. We'll follow up on that perhaps. So there's some Georgia congressmen involved in that.
Yeah, it seems at least you should file a complaint before you file a lawsuit.
That's what this new law wants him to do, but there's all kind of issues as to whether this is the best way to do it. It's clearly a problem. It's only in a few states right now, and Georgia has become one of them.
All right.
Dale, thanks so much.
Thanks, Dale.